I'd like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. Peace and safety to the hopeful elect. All the sincere Akim scattered throughout the four corners, pushing his word in sincerity and in truth. For those who don't know, Yahweh is the name of the Heavenly Father, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahushua is the name of the only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And this is another edition of biblical interpretations. And in this edition, I'm going to go into Revelation 19 and 15. And it reads, "And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword." And the his is referring to Yahushua. And that sharp sword is referring to the destruction that the Lord, Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, is going to bring when he returns to this earth. That with it, he should smite the nations. Alright, so with that destruction that the Lord is bringing, which that's what the word sword refers to, is destruction. And I'm going to show you in the precepts what that destruction is referring to. So with that sword, he should smite the nations. So basically, the Lord is coming to destroy this whole Babylonian system of all nations being one. All right. So it says, "And he shall rule them," referring to the nations, "with a rod of iron." Now that rod of iron is referring to the elect. All right, the 144,000. So it says, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. And that winepress, that's the nations that the Lord is going to smite. So I'm going to get another precept in the Apocrypha and show you that Ezra, in the book of Ezra, got the same vision that John the Revelator got. So this is 2nd Ezra 13. 2nd Ezra 13. And I'm going to start at verse 10 and show you what that sharp sword is referred to, that he's going to smite the nations with. So this is 2nd Ezra 10. Salakia 13 and 10. And it says, "But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth," referred to Yahushua, "as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests." All right, referring to that sword. All right, and not nuclear missiles. All right, this is referring to the elements. We all know a tempest, that sparks a tempest, is basically a firestorm, and that's referring to the brimstone, man. So verse 11, "And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath," basically a firestorm, man. All right, and this is what the Lord is going to use to smite the nations, man. All right, referring to the elements, man. All right, Leviathan, those volcanoes, that fire, that brimstone. Remember in the book of Luke, chapter 17, he said in the same way that he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, is the same way he's going to destroy this Babylonian system, man. All right. So it says, "And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest." All right, the great storm, "and fell with violence upon the multitude which were prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one." And that's referring to Revelation 12, when it speaks of Michael and his angels fought against the dragon and his angels. All right, that's that multitude which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only the dust and the smell of smoke. When I saw it, I was so afraid. So this is Ezra receiving the same vision that John the Revelator received here in Revelation 19 and 15. So now I'm going to read it without any private interpretation. It says, "And out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword." All right, that's that firestorm All right, referring to the brimstone, that with it he shall smite the nations, and shall rule them with a rod of iron. Now that rod of iron is referring to the elect, because that's who he's going to use to rule the nations. That rod of iron, and he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty. So I want to get another precept in the book of Revelation. Stay in the book of Revelations, chapter 2, and verse 26. And it says, and he that overcometh, show you what that rod of iron is referring to, that the Lord is going to rule the nations with. So this is Revelation 2:26. And he that overcometh, referring to the elect, and keepeth my works, and to the end, to him will I give power over the nations. So that's that rod of iron that the Lord is going to use to rule the nations. Verse 27, and he shall rule them with the rod of iron. As a vessel of a potter shall they be broken to shivers, even as I receive of my Father. All right, so that's your rod of iron in Revelations 19:15, that the Lord is going to use to rule the nations. All right, so let's get another precept. Stay in the book of Revelations, Revelation 12 and 5. And it says, and she brought forth a man-child who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. So that rod of iron is referring to the 144,000, the elect, all right, Mount Zion. And her child was caught up into the power to his throne, referring to Yahweh Shai, man. So let's get another precept here in the book of Isaiah. Isaiah 41. And Isaiah 41 and 15. And it reads, behold, I will make thee a new sharp thrashing instrument, having teeth. Thou shalt thrash the mountains, and the mountain is referring to the nations, the governments. All right, thou shalt thrash the mountains and beat them small, and shall make the hills as chaff. So that instrument is that rod of iron, man, referring to the elect, man. All right, and that's that sharp thrashing instrument having teeth. All right, so let's prove it further. One last precept in the book of Isaiah. We're going to stay in the book of Isaiah, chapter 54, because it's a private interpretation that this is referring to heathens, man. All right, some say it's referring to the Edomites, the so-called white man, and his science and his nuclear missiles, which is a private interpretation. And some say it's the Assyrians that is dealing with history, but when you read the chapter and you read it in context, it's referring to the elect. And this is Isaiah 54:16. Behold, I have created the smith, and the smith is referring to Yahweh Shai. All right, that bloweth the coals in the fire and bringeth forth an instrument. That same rod of iron. All right, the elect, those sharp thrashing teeth. That same instrument in Isaiah 41:15. So it said, I have created the smith that bloweth the coals in the fire, and that bringeth forth an instrument for his work. All right, so the smith who bring forth the instrument for his work is referring to Yahweh Shai, and that rod of iron that he's going to use to rule the nations. And I have created the waster to destroy. So this smith is not referring to heathens, because like I said, when you read the whole chapter in context, it's referring to that the elect, man. Okay, it's not referring to Esau, man. All right, Esau scientists and nuclear weaponry, man. It's metaphorically speaking of the elect, the 144,000. So when you go back to the book of Revelations, chapter 19 and verse 15, and it reads, and out of his mouth goeth a sharp sword, that with it he might smite the nations. And that's the Lord's destruction. That's not referring to the Edomites and nuclear missiles, man. All right? And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And we know that rod of iron is that same sharp thrashing instrument that the smith brought forth, all right, for his work. It says, and he shall rule them with a rod of iron, and he shall tread the winepress of the fierceness of the wrath of the Almighty power. And basically, that's the point. I hope you brothers was edified. And with that, I'm gonna say shalom.